Danhausen. Before he became a worldwide sensation with WWE, Danhausen was relentless. Join us as we look back at Danhausen in Relentless Wrestling. Danhausen first appeared at our inaugural show inside the walls of Northern Quest Resorted Casino. That night, he faced Alan Angels, and it was definitely monumental.
This is a pro Danhausen crowd. Probably don't need to tell you that. And Alan trying to silence him so he can concentrate. Danhausen wanting the referee to raise his hand early, but the referee refusing. And Danhausen giving the people what they want. Alan Angels refusing to pose for the crowd. They were going to boo you anyway, bro. You're in Danhausen territory, it looks like. Collar and elbow tie-up between these two Alan Angels, forcing Danhausen into the corner. Are we going to get the clean break from Alan? Sort of. A little bit of a push. And Danhausen just brushes it off. You see that tattoo there on his chest? I don't think that little push is going to hurt him much. Danhausen, quick arm drag. And very happy with himself. Alan Angels trying to say it didn't hurt so bad. One more lockup. Angels going for the arm. Ringing that up. Danhausen rolls one way. Kips up. And he gets the arm, sending Alan Angels all the way over onto his backside. Mr. Danhausen, I said backsided, not the bad word. And the crowd correctly identifying that this is wrestling. And I'm glad they're excited and happy to see it. Another standoff. Angels not wasting much time with that lockup. Getting Danhausen into the side headlock, referee signaling that it's clean. Danhausen whipping Angels into the ropes. Angels shoulder block. Danhausen shoulder blocks him back, sending them all the way over. Buttocks over tea kettle. And Angels is frustrated. Misses. Danhausen sliding to the floor, encouraging Angels to follow him and fight. Angels giving Danhausen chase. Danhausen jogging around the ring. We're getting a lap. Danhausen, whoa, pausing him. Oh no, he's not going to do it. He cursed him. Danhausen cursed Alan Angels. Angels says he's okay. I don't think he's okay. Trips on the way into the ring. Danhausen rolls him up. Mahi strong. Referee for the count. 1, 2. Angels barely kicks out. Danhausen now splashing in the corner, getting up onto the turnbuckles. I don't need to say anything when the crowd's saying it for me. Danhausen now up onto the second rope. Leaping double axe to the head of Alan Angels. Everything that Angels has tried, Danhausen has had an answer for. And then some. Punch to the back. Is the curse still going to affect Angels? Punch to the top of the head. Just shoving Angels away from him. Another double axe to the middle of the back, right between the shoulder blades. of Alan Angels, and now just smacking him into the apron of the Relentless Wrestling ring. Danhausen taking him over, and a big punch to the head right in front of the lucky fan who got a picture. Alan has got to get out of the blocks. A nice kick to the gut. It gives Danhausen a face full of apron of his own. Alan Angels now throwing Danhausen back in the ring, and Angels looks like he's finally getting underway. Went for it, stuck his head out, but baited Danhausen in with that dragon screw leg whip into the ropes. And now Angels leaping from the second rope and drop kicks the knee that he just whipped. Angels now finally getting underway in this match, making sure that it's not just a one-sided affair. This is monumental. Angels is not going to let Danhausen embarrass him anymore. Punches straight to the face of Danhausen referee, warning him. Angels now. A kick right to that knee. We know Angels' target. Might as well have painted it in bright neon, even though Danhausen's wearing the black tights. Going. He can't even whip Danhausen across to the corner. Danhausen's knee just buckled based upon the punishment administered to him from the front man. Alan Angels dragging him back down, and he has found his weakness, and he is moving towards it like a shark sniffing blood. Dropping his knee right across Danhausen's knee, and now posing for the crowd that doesn't necessarily like it. Alan Angels now locking the knee. He's got some sort of... That is the old lasso from El Paso. I have not seen that move since Eddie Guerrero would employ it back on SmackDown. And that's going way back. Alan Angels, obviously a student of the game. Danhausen trying to crawl towards the ropes. He really needs to get this broken if he wants to have a chance. Danhausen gets to the bottom rope, and the referee is going to force the break. Angels, though, is going to take advantage of every single moment of the referee's count until he has to break to avoid being disqualified. Danhausen is having trouble standing. Danhausen may be injured, but he can still fight from his knees. 2 punches to the breadbasket. Make it 3. Danhausen trying to gut it out, but Angels kicks him right in the stomach. And now what does Angels have planned for Danhausen? Underhooking both of the arms. Danhausen blocks it. Backdrop to Alan Angels. This is Danhausen's opportunity. If he can get that knee working, atomic drop onto the good knee, and a big clothesline. Danhausen now has got Alan Angels in his sights. Cross the ring for the European uppercut. Checks on that knee, makes sure it's still working, and uses it. It uses the good knee as a weapon. He's got Angels doubled over. Slingshot into the ring. Slingshot into the release German suplex. And both men are down. Danhausen rising from the mat and falling again. These are 2 athletes giving their all. Danhausen rising again and falling again. He is looking towards his jar of teeth. The teeth are calling out to him. Danhausen now with the jar of teeth. Alan Angels seeing none of it. Quick roll up, 2 count. Pump kick from Danhausen. Referee counts 1, and Alan Angels out at 2. Danhausen Danhausen with the advantage. Saying good night, Hausen. Scoops him up on the shoulders. Oh. But Alan Angels countered. Put him into kind of a modified, it's as if a combination of the figure four and the sharpshooter simultaneously. I don't think I've seen anybody do this before. Angels innovating in front of our very eyes, or at least innovating to my eyes, as Danhausen again is forced to try to crawl to the ropes, and he makes it. And Angels again, he's not going to release until he absolutely has to. Cranking as hard as he can on that hold. And Danhausen's hurt. And Angels is ready to take full advantage. He's saying this is the end. Going for a figure four, spinning toe hold, small package for two. Angels now rolled up. Danhausen gets 2 count. Angels up. Ducks the clothesline, going for the backslide. Angels is fighting it. Angels trying to get a backslide of his own. Angels getting the arms repositioned properly. Kicks that bad knee. Backslide from Alan Angels. Danhausen rolls out. Angels with a big swinging kick. Got the count. Referee counts 2. Danhausen with the shoulder up. That was a big kick. Straight into the very nice, very evil face of Danhausen. And Alan Angels is smiling. He is smelling opportunity. Or maybe he is just smelling those teeth in the jar. I thought he was looking at him, y'all. But maybe he doesn't need him. Maybe he's sensing a different attack. Forearm. Setting him up again. Double arms. Danhausen coming to life. He does not want Angels to do what he's about to do. Danhausen scooping him up, but the knee gives way. Angels just getting punched in the face by Danhausen. Several punches over and over again. If all else fails, punch him in the face. Danhausen took too much time, and Angels hit him with a kick. But what a forearm! Danhausen may have put everything he had left into that, but Alan Angels straight on his back. Both men down, the referee initiating the customary 10 count. If neither man can answer the count of 10, this match will be declared a draw, but goodness, I hope that doesn't happen. And considering how much they're stirring, I don't think it will. Angels now grabbing Danhausen. Forearm to the face, answered with a headbutt. Angels, punch of his own. Danhausen, punch in the face. Forearm from Alan Angels and answered with one from Danhausen. They're going back and forth. They are as Gorilla Monsoon would say, they are unloading the heavy artillery. But it looks like Danhausen's is just a little heavier as he is getting the advantage with these punches. And now just straight up putting a whooping on him. Danhausen off the ropes. Just that knee again. Alan Angels has had a target painted on that knee the entire match. And every time Angels seems to be in trouble, he knows exactly what to do. And that's just go right back after that injured knee. Stomp to the chest. Angels now. Now he's eyeballing the teeth. Shaking the teeth in the jaw. And this may not be a good idea. He's put some of the teeth into his hand. Now they're teeth, so it's not a foreign object. And he's trying to force the teeth into the mouth of Danhausen. That's what Danhausen does. But Danhausen shoves those teeth right back into Alan Angel's face. Sends him into the corner. Snap German suplex. And now Danhausen's going for the teeth. Shaking the teeth. Opening him wide, and he's got a mouthful of teeth. And this, good Danhausen with a mouthful of teeth. Referee counts 1, 2, 3. Danhausen picks up the win. And those are teeth, so that's not a weapon. That's a naturally occurring part of the body. Danhausen with the good Danhausen. Picking up the victory over the front man here at Relentless Wrestling Monumental. Angel's not sure if the teeth on the mat are the ones that were put in his mouth or the ones that were in his mouth before it started.
After a big success like that, it was obvious Danhausen was here to stay. So at the first Pinnacle event, he was back to silence the big mouth of Vinnie Masaro.
So it's going to be the unusual tactics of Danhausen against the wily veteran, Vinnie Masaro. And a nice collar and elbow tie-up to get us started. Wow, you wouldn't think, looking at them, that Danhausen would have the power advantage over Vinnie Masaro. But he just forced him back into the corner there. And another collar and elbow tie-up here. And now, maybe it was the leverage, because Vinnie forcing Danhausen back. And a much less respectful dismissal of Danhausen there. Clean-ish break. And I think he's getting ready. And there's a curse. Don't disrespect the man. And he may do it again. The crowd wants him to do it one more time. Masaro charges. Danhausen low bridge. Getting a nice head of steam coming in. Big splash in the corner. Danhausen now. When the crowd's chanting and counting to 10. Big bulldog from Danhausen. And now on the second rope. Nice leaping double X from the man who's both very nice and very evil. Dodging all of Vinnie's attacks. Only getting the 2 count there. And he's going for the teeth already. And Masaro very smartly bails to the outside. He wants nothing to do with Danhausen's teeth. And that is the type of announcement that I never thought I'd make. Masaro looked like he might be leaving. Danhausen not going to let that happen. Caught up with him. And now slamming his face into the ring apron. Just beating him around the ring. And a back rake from Danhausen. Masaro, though, this may be a tactic. But Danhausen's not going to give him time to think about it. Danhausen going to the top rope. Masaro catches him coming, brings him in the hard way. Looks like he was going after the shoulder there. And now just stomping away. Vinnie is never above kicking a man while he's down. And now even more kicks to the prone Danhausen. The crowd not exactly enamored with Mr. Smug Life. Hammerlock now from Vinnie. And throws him into the corner. That arm completely exposed. Taking more punishment onto that left shoulder. Vinnie Masaro came into this fight with a game plan, and he is executing it here. Not the most flattering chant from the crowd here in Airway Heights. But it looks like Vinnie's putting him on the pay no mind list because he's going back to his attack on Danhausen. Thought he was going to whip him across, but kept a hold of the arm and used it to slam him into the mat. Vinnie now, just a good old-fashioned stomp here. Vinnie, his pace is methodical. Just choking him out in the corner. Vinnie's pace is methodical, but it is effective. And now, oh, is this going to be a good old-fashioned Anderson power slam? I remember watching Ole and Arn do that at 6:05 on Tokyo TBS. Only a 2 count. And while the 2 count means that the match isn't over, it does mean that Danhausen had to expend the energy to kick out. And now, top wrist lock from Vinnie Masaro onto Danhausen, but Danhausen is not staying down. Danhausen trying to fight back with those right hands. But every time he hits Vinnie, he's leaving himself open for those shots to that weakened shoulder. Manhattan drop from Danhausen and a big clothesline. Northern Light suplex. You can see he didn't quite get all of it. The damage that Vinnie has done to that left arm is very apparent. Big European uppercut from Danhausen. Step up knee to the back of the head of Vinnie Masaro. And now Danhausen stuck his head out. Vinnie Masaro saw it coming. And he's got him with just a swift kick right to the face. Vinnie now charging in. Danhausen out of the way. Going for the German suplex. Not able to do it with that arm. And Vinnie Masaro taking full advantage. And that looks to be a Juji Gatami right there. Stretching out that arm. Danhausen is in serious trouble here. With the amount of work that Vinnie Masaro has done on that arm, referee keeping close eye on Danhausen, making sure that Danhausen hasn't passed out, making sure that whether or not Danhausen wants to submit. Danhausen makes the ropes. Vinnie Masaro is going to try to take advantage of as much of the referee's 5 count as he possibly can before relinquishing the hold. And now, this could be the snoring elbow. Danhausen ducks, and he gets a nice snap German suplex onto Vinnie Masaro. This is the opening that Danhausen needed. He got the teeth. And the teeth are in his mouth, and a big boot with the teeth. That's got to be scrambling the mind of Vinnie Masaro. And it was enough.
A year later at Pinnacle 2 would be the last time we were graced with this particular kind of very nice and very evil. Jackson Price needed help against the Ascendancy, and he knew exactly who to call.
Chase James and Carlito against Danhausen and Jackson Price. Jackson and Chase have this personal issue, and I don't think Chase realizes that it's Jackson standing behind him.
Imagine not realizing that guy's behind you.
I've known where that guy is in the building all day. And Chase finally realizes he's in the ring with a giant. And that might have been the smartest thing Chase has done all day, getting the hell out of Jackson's way.
Hey, well, if they have some sort of arrangement and Carlito is here to work, I hope he put his shoes on. I hope that's exactly what he's here to do. Put those boots on and get to work, Carlito. Oh, no. Chase just knocked the apple off the apron.
Oh, my God.
Not only that, but it rolled down the steel steps.
Carlito's disgusted. You know how hard it is to find an apple in the casino?
And now Carlito finally taking a look at the big giant.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's Carlito versus the apple tree.
Danhausen up on the second rope, barely taller than Jackson. And Danhausen wants some of Carlito. Jackson's going to let him have it. Danhausen stepping over the top rope like the giant he is. Danhausen walking tall and unable to slam Carlito. And unable to drop toe hold Carlito.
Pretty good technique, I do have to say, on that drop toe hold. He does have the ankle locked, but too much strength, too many apples from Carlito.
Danhausen asking for Carlito to be disqualified. Referee John saying no.
So referee John's been around.
He knows the rule book inside and out. Nice waist lock here from Danhausen.
Lived through a few hundred Christmases.
And Danhausen may be exhausted now. Believe it or not, this is the first time Danhausen and Jackson Price have teamed together.
Well, he managed to get the headlock. That's a lot of head to lock.
It's a tough task with hair like that to get through all of it.
Danhausen bouncing off Carlito like he was a fly.
Possible Danhausen shouldn't have tagged in.
And Danhausen's going to rethink his life. He's asking what to do, Tom. Tom giving him some strategy off mic. Tom, what'd you tell him?
Do you really want me to repeat it? I told him to take that apple and try to put it up Carlito's ass.
Oh, okay. I mean,
that was your advice.
I've never seen that submission before, but I would tap out if somebody did that to me.
Well, he said, should I go for a submission? I said, yeah. Get that stem.
Yeah, that stem goes in the wrong spot. I'm tapping. Now wanting a test of strength.
Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I told him to do. I told you. And it paid off. Look at that.
Stomp the foot of Carlito. Carlito looks mad now. Ducking a couple of clotheslines. Caught him coming in. Chase James wanting him to give the fall-away slam. Danhausen falls away. Drop kick, Carlito into the ropes. And Danhausen not fast with the follow-up.
He's got the dukes up, though. He's ready for whatever Carlito's going to come back with. Oh,
Nice high five.
oh!
Chase sneaking in with the super kick.
Look at that idiot.
Leave it to Chase to ruin things.
Well, Carlito seemed like he was none too pleased with the actions of Chase James there, but Chase tagged himself in. But you know what? Hey, if he's the one paying the bills, he's the one calling the shots.
Well, hold on a second. Carlito was having no issues whatsoever, and that guy tagged himself in. For what? He also knocked his apple off the apron, down the stairs, and into the front row.
I just told you, Brian, he's the one, he's the boss. He's the one that's paying the bills for Carlito. He's a hired gun.
I understand
Chase can tell him
that.
what he wants to do. You should know that.
And I think Chase is about to get cursed.
Can't you curse the clown?
I think the clown's already cursed.
At birth. Oh!
Drop toe hold. Chase up. Danhausen.
Oh!
That curse is doing wonders. Big body slam. Danhausen's feeling like a giant again.
He got that drop toe hold the second time. Nice high cross.
2 count. Chase getting both shoulders off the mat.
Frank the Clown. Oh, he's taking the teeth. He's stolen Danhausen's teeth. Straight from the mouth of the beast.
And hits the rope right into.
That was a blatant low blow. Referee counts anyway.
It's a very lenient referee.
Oh, he was distracted, clearly.
By teeth?
That's not even why. You guys are out of your mind. Chase was trying to get out of the ring. Chase was trying to get out of the ring. His foot inadvertently hit the rope.
Just like to note a lot of good your advice did him. He's being humiliated in front of this clown.
And now he's being humiliated by the clown.
Now he's getting choked.
Once again, a beautiful maneuver by Frank the Clown.
Back elbow from Chase, gonna send him out to snapmare. Cartwheel, low kick.
That cartwheel sucked.
Not the best technique in the cartwheel.
No.
It's a better cartwheel than I can do.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I am. 2 count, Danhausen staying in the matchup. Frank the Clown demanding referee John count faster.
I don't know if I'd mess with that referee.
I wouldn't.
He looks like he's beating a little ass in his day.
Big shoulder block from Danhausen, sending Chase head over heels. And now may be the time for Danhausen to bring in the big man.
He can probably make the tag from where he's at, that guy's so tall.
Reach, they're close.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh,
Chase
man.
getting him into the James Carlito corner. And now Chase tagging Carlito.
Yeah, I mean, Carlito was upset when he had to get out of the ring before. Now he's mad when he has to get in. I mean, come
Chase
on.
is just kind of taking the decision away from him, bossing him around.
Keep in mind, Tom, we don't know how much this guy's getting paid.
The boss.
That was a better cartwheel.
No. But you know what? It was a Carlito cartwheel. A Carlito wheel.
I was hoping you wouldn't say.
Thank you, Tom. You were waiting.
And enough time had passed that I was happy.
And that's when he delivered it to make sure.
Look at Danhausen's neck and his head. This is just a chin lock, but look at how his neck is all cranked
Look
weird.
at the size of Carlito's arms.
I know. This does
I
not
mean,
look
his
good.
biceps wrapped around the neck, the throat of Danhausen.
Danhausen still in it, but for how long?
I mean, I'm not sure what Danhausen is. Danhausen undead? Could he even breathe in a position like this?
Danhausen forcing Carlito back in the corner. I don't think Carlito's going to argue with that tag.
Oh, now Carlito's saying that he had him.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Had him right where he wanted him, getting bullied into the corner.
That was a brutal chin lock.
And Chase must feel like he has Danhausen where he wants him as a leader of the
Oh,
ascendancy.
why is Danhausen's taking a swipe at poor Frank the Clown on the floor?
1S, ascendancy.
When you see somebody like Frank the Clown, you kind of want to take a swipe at him.
You can see on his trunks, Tom.
It was a question.
Chase getting Danhausen hooked up. Made him think about it for that suplex. Chase James trained at the Buddy Wayne Wrestling Academy, a place that I know Brian Alvarez is familiar with.
Sure am. Buddy didn't teach a lot of cartwheels.
From the looks of Chase's cartwheel, it doesn't seem like he did.
But as far as isolating an opponent,
Yeah, forget about the cartwheel. How about that beautiful vertical suplex he just delivered? Why aren't you talking about that?
Chase tagging Carlito back in the match and taking a bunch of shoulder blocks from Danhausen. I can't tell if Carlito wants to be here. Danhausen forcing a bet. Big elbow from Carlito. Carlito standing over him. Danhausen trying to get Carlito to hit Jackson.
Looking for a little reprieve. It doesn't look like he's going to get it.
As much as Carlito may not be liking Chase's tactics, he still wants to win the match.
Well, he gets more money if he does. Think about it. We would assume.
I think Danhausen needs a better plan than punching him in the stomach.
Seems to be working. Danhausen making his way to his feet.
Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, great analysis there, Alvarez.
Hey. See, I was right. Don't doubt me.
Oh, well, what happens is he stopped punching him in the stomach.
He hit him
and
with
that's
his
when
stomach.
he got run over.
He was baiting him in.
And now that Carlito seemed to have him right where he wanted him, Chase tags himself in once again. Chase saying this is the end. He likes that package pile driver. Danhausen out of it. Chase caught the foot in. Nice enziguri from Danhausen. And Danhausen needs to tag the big man.
He's close.
But he's taking a beating for minutes on end now.
He's right there.
Sends Chase back.
And there's a big tag.
And Jackson's in. And the mood of this match has changed, and Carlito has jumped off the apron.
He's just getting a snack break so he can be ready to get in there. He needs some energy.
Saying, Chase, you're on your own. You made this bed. And he walks into a big boot.
Carlito, get in there.
Carlito chose an apple that fell on the ground over his partner.
Scooping him up high.
Oh my God, that is a big slam.
Chase out the back door.
Oh!
Chop blocks the knee.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall, Brian. Well, you wouldn't know a damn thing about that, would you?
Danhausen.
Carlito lining up Danhausen along with Chase. Wait! No!
I guess Chase isn't cool.
I tried to tell
Not
you, Tom.
like this! Not like this!
And now Danhausen's got the teeth. And the straps are down for Jackson.
Oh!
Bicycle kick with
God.
the teeth.
Obi Trice would be proud.
And Jackson's got him goozled.
Oh my God, not into the teeth.
Slam on the
Oh my
teeth.
God. That's it.
1 foot cover.
It's over.
Jackson and Danhausen win.
Danhausen is a sensation, and it's obvious why. But before he was worldwide, he was relentless.